couple of the cabinet secretaries decided to just go with, we're going to do a whole new face, whole new me, whole new person, and I'm going to reconstruct myself to look more appealing to the Cougars at Mar-a-Lago.
I mean, I'm supportive of some of them getting a new face because I've seen their before pictures. I'm like, I get it.
Hey, y'all, I'm Tim Miller.
I'm Cameron Kasky, and this is FYPod, the Bulwark's young news show. This week, we are joined by the amazing Suzanne Lambert to talk about everything from being from Florida, getting infiltrated by MAGA spies, and maybe a little bit more too. Suzanne, how are you?
I'm so good. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Spycraft, that was a good tease. I got to tell you, Suzanne, I know nothing about you. Except through your TikTok celebrity. I've spent 20 minutes on your TikTok feed. It's pretty engaging. I'm going to have a few notes for you at the end.
Yeah.
For the listeners who, like me, are just meeting you, like, give us a little kind of first date TLDR. What's your life been like? You know?
Yeah, sure. So let me emphatically say that I'm from Georgia. I'm not from Florida.
Go Dogs.
Georgia girl, go Dogs. Yep, I'm a grad of the University of Georgia. Might have heard of it. From Georgia, have been doing stand-up comedy since 2018, grew up super conservative. And when I moved to Florida, had a few different life, circumstances and experiences that made me change my political views, like probably a lot of your listeners. And
so when you started your comedy, were you a conservative? Are
Yeah.
there old tapes of like you doing, kind of white grievance jokes or like, kind of jokes where you use retard or like,
never. No, hate the R word. You will never ever find me saying
it. We here at FYPod detest the word as well, especially Tim.
Yeah, I really dislike it. But you do have some old conservative stand-up that's out there somewhere. That's fine.
I love that you're already on the hunt, and the answer is no, I don't. So honestly, it was really comedy that was one of the reasons why I kind of changed my views, because like you're in an environment where you're hearing people talk about their life experiences over and over, and you're not in a position where you have to respond. You're not in a position where you feel threatened. Like you can kind of laugh. And, when you have 3 comics in a row talk about their experiences with like racism, you're like, maybe that thing does exist that they told me didn't exist. And that was really like the
like reverse racism. That was your light bulb went off and you're like, I should do some jokes about the reverse racism that I feel.
I honestly, when I started doing comedy, I wouldn't even cuss on stage. I was like hell-bent on being a clean comic, which is so funny because it's absolutely not the case now. But no, you won't find any problematic stand-up. You could probably find some problematic old Facebook statuses if you dig hard enough, and please don't.
To be clear, Tim is not asking about your problematic old stand-up in order to do a gotcha. He's asking because he wants to watch it to just, scratch his former conservative itch.
Exactly. I don't know if I'm not that interested in non-cursing stand-up. Do you remember any like old PG jokes that you had? Do you have any material?
Oh yeah, there's one. It's a long setup about men and sports and how men are obsessed with sports and reciting sports statistics and all the things. Yeah.
Naming all players. We can just like name players from the 1990s.
I mean, it's insane. You're like he's the statistics they say, they'll be like, he's the first quarterback to ever get a 5th touchdown in the last second of the 3rd quarter. I'm like, how do you even like?
No, but that's something that the commentators on ESPN do. Like every fucking game you watch, they pull out the craziest stat. Like something will happen. They'll be like, this is Nikola Jokic second best 1 minute 30 seconds to 2 minutes in the 3rd quarter in playoff history. Like they've got some AI that's just pulling everything that happens in a especially playoffs game. There's some record that it's breaking.
Or just like a really passionate neurodivergent person behind the scenes kind of pulling random stats together. But the punchline of that joke is, I'm not mad at it though, because it's the only time men reflect on other men's actions. And men love that joke. Like men... That's nice. Loved that joke. So that's like an oldie, That's a
good oldie.
Wait,
there weren't any church jokes. There weren't any like,
I have some church jokes. So this is tea. My my stepdad was the priest at my church before he married my mom. They've been married for like 25 years. So I have a joke about how he went from, because in the Catholic Church you call them like father, right?
Oh,
like
well, he's
father.
a Catholic priest. He defrocked himself.
That's when you know, you've got him in your clutches, when he'll totally like abandon his vow of poverty and his entire profession. This is a Fleabag
situation.
Wait, isn't frock a sex thing?
No, defrocked is like where you take off your garments, your priestly garments.
What am I thinking of? Can you think of a sex thing that sounds like frock?
Deflowered?
No.
Frottage?
No, what's the thing that like Mormons do when they don't want to have sex, but the thing where somebody where they're like they like get in a sex position.
Doc.
I don't think it's doc. I think doc is a gay thing. I think no. There's some I don't want this in my Google search history.
Interrupted the joke. You'll come up with it. All right. So so your stepdad was defrocked because he loved your mother as a Fleabag love story. Okay, continue.
Literally so hot. Like I can't even get a text back, and she has a man abandon his entire profession. Must be nice. But and so I have a joke there about how he went from being father to daddy, just like stupid shit. It's a good joke.
That's good. Joke. Yeah. I saw do you know Fleabag? You know that show?
I never watched it. No. I'm like 7 shows behind.
Cam, you know that show Fleabag? Anyway, there's a hot priest on Fleabag.
I'm glad you've watched Fleabag, Tim.
There's a hot priest on Fleabag. I saw him at the gay bar in New York. I was like, everybody's gay. His whole storyline in the show was about how he's a hot straight priest that they're going to convert, but in reality, the real life is he was a gay.
Many of the hottest straight guys from TV and media are in fact homosexuals.
Okay, hold on. Now back to Suzanne. Me and Cameron keep taking you off. So okay, so you were a comedian. You were earnest milk and cookies comedian, and then now you've made the full switch. How far gone are you now? Like, are you just like a vile leftist, or like where are you on the
and they hate me and I hate them. I try to post something once a week that would alienate only the most annoying people to exist on the internet, to get rid of those people from my following.
I followed you.
It hasn't worked on you yet. That's good.
To be fair, I don't know if I've watched any of the content, but you can't take that personally, because as soon as I see that something's a video, I scroll past it. But if you are listening right now, please comment on our videos that I post. That would be a great idea. And comment down below how much you appreciate Suzanne for making content to reach new people. Suzanne, when we were on the phone talking about this episode and we were just doing a little intro, you told me something that really resonated, which was you consider yourself an entertainer more than an informer, because you think it's important for people who are making positive social content to focus on making stuff that people want to watch as well, that doesn't feel like homework. When did you figure that one out?
Honestly, like right around the election, I would say, because we're really good on the left about informing and reporting facts and statistics and headlines, and that's all like it's very boring. Right?
Facts. Who needs them?
Yeah, who needs them, right? I mean, we're just kind of boring, and on the right, they're a lot more entertaining. So I've always been, entertainment first. If I inform along with that, great, but that's not the goal. And actually, a lot of people on the left have a problem with that sometimes. And they'll be like, well, why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you talking about that? I'm like, because I don't talk about a lot of things. Like, I'm not a news reporter. That's not why I'm here.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I don't talk about, and people will ask me why I don't talk about it. And I'm like, you know what? I respect you too much to subject you to my opinion on this thing that is so poorly educated. But your comedy has resonated so much with people online that you ended up getting invited to be some sort of host for the annoying liberal TikTok conference at which you and I met. For those of you who didn't listen to that episode, me and Suzanne and Harry Sisson and the types of people you see online where you're like, oh, I agree. Yeah, the former FYPod guest, Jessica Burbank, the people you see online where you're like, oh, I agree with everything they're saying. I don't know if they would be a fun hang, but I agree with their politics. We all got together for what to me was a very fun hang.
So fun.
And you were the belle of the fucking ball. And I wanted to ask you.
Did Harry Sisson DM you at any point during the?
Harry and I are buddies. He's also like not like that in real life. I don't know why people think he's such like a sweet, chill guy.
I love the kid. That's my new little brother right there.
He's my buddy. Yeah.
But while I was downstairs in the lobby with Harry, hanging out with my little brother and some other nice kids, some of the Midas Touch dorks, we saw this strange looking man who was being very affable and social, chatting people up, sort of networking a little bit, I think under the guise of being some sort of liberal. And then in the signal chat with everybody at the conference, with hundreds of people in the signal chat, warning, MAGA guy infiltrating the conference. I personally was just like, LOL, and I put my phone down and went to sleep.
Did he infiltrate the signal chat as well? Is it like a Pete Hegseth situation?
Well, no. Oh my God. Well, it was a liberal thing. So since there was a signal chat, everybody made the Pete Hegseth joke.
Oh, sorry. So many God, take that out. God, that's embarrassing. I made the same joke as Keith Edwards, didn't I?
I don't know I don't know the whole situation because I just was like amused and then went to bed. Can you lay it out for us?
Oh my God. I thought you'd never ask. I'm obsessed with talking about this man, David Blair. Can I use his full name? David Blair. Yeah. So,
can we put his picture up? Because I saw his picture on your social media. We'll put it up here for the YouTube viewers. And I think it's important to like look at him to visualize this person.
He's one of those guys, sort of like Andrew Schultz, the guy who Pete Buttigieg went on the podcast of, where the face has not earned the facial hair.
I called him an ugly ass Lego villain, which I feel like is the perfect way to describe his entire aesthetic. He looks like a Lego villain. He just looks
like he's on at Palantir. I don't know if he works for Palantir, but like it feels like his bio should be on Palantir's website.
So what the fuck happened?
Okay, to set the scene, it's like 4 p.m., right? It was the first full day of the conference, so it was Monday. Oh my God, so it was like a week ago. That's crazy. Over a week ago. And I went to the bar and there was a guy sitting there who had clearly been there a while, like seemed pretty drunk. And he was just like, hey, are you here for the influencer conference? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, if I buy you a drink, can I ask you a few questions? And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. I'll talk about myself. I love talking about myself. So basically he starts by being like, my firm is investigating brands that invest in liberal creators. Can you tell me more about that? And I was like, what are you talking? Because I'm like, if that's what he's really asking, there's no way he would give himself away so easily and so quickly and so obviously. So I was like, do you actually mean XYZ? And then like it kind of started twisting and turning. Oh, I work for a PAC that's affiliated with Newswire and we're trying to like bring education to the classrooms. I was like, what kind of education? How does that pertain to brands? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So at the end, he's like, yeah, let me get your number. And I was like, you can have my email. I was like, no, let me get your number. I was like, no, you can have my email. And then I took my drink and bounced. But the reason we found out who he was is because when I asked him his name, I was like, what did you say your name was? He said his name was David Blaine, like the 90s street magician.
Like the magician.
This is the sloppiest spycraft I've ever seen. Because first of all, saying we're like investigating these people, it's like you should have said we're networking with these people.
Literally.
He changed one letter in his name. It's like putting up a fake mustache.
Literally, if he had said, I'm here for a payroll conference, he should have just like made it up, acted totally unassuming. Influencers love talking about themselves. They would have told him everything he needed to know. But he like instead gave the name of a 90s street magician. And I was like, your name is David Blaine? And he goes, yeah, he took it a few years before me. So I Googled after I took my drink and swiftly exited, David Blaine, like conservative PAC, because it was giving conservative. And then immediately it pops up David Blair.
Oh, so you're the one who discovered this.
Yeah. He came to like the worst person.
Nice
Nancy
sleuthing.
Fucking Drew over here. Nancy Drew and the conservative infiltrator.
What is that reference, Cam? The boomers are going to be thrilled about that poll.
Yeah,
Nancy Drew. Was there a new? Did they do like a Nancy Drew Netflix show or something?
I'm sure they tried. No, it's just, you know me. I pull my cultural references from anywhere except for Gen Z. But okay, so
but not MAGA, Nancy Drew, because it was like so easy and obvious to find. If you just said his name was like Mike Thompson, no one would have.
That sounds pretty conservative too.
That's a great big name.
He's actually the representative for Napa Valley. Shout out Rep Thompson. No, like he could have used any other name and we wouldn't have found him, but he used his almost exact fucking real name, which is so funny to me.
That's well. I'm wondering
what did we learn about this guy?
He's a weirdo, owns a consulting firm that like they essentially try to eradicate free speech on college campuses is what I gathered. So then a bunch of people, because now it's like 1 a.m., like lots of time kind of goes by. Then a bunch of people were like drunk messaging him on LinkedIn. Apparently he took his photo off LinkedIn. So he like knows that we like found him. And I have a conservative like follower who reached out to me and was like, oh, this guy's such a mess. I've known him for a long time. He's like always just a mess. So